What's good, Liberators? Fingers here, and this is Dx2 Demon Review, and today we are talking about the power creep OG of the Dx2 universe, the hero, Huang, the Yellow Emperor of China. Good Lord, Sega! That is not politically correct, not in 2021. And as we all know, these days, China runs very red. One of the three sovereigns and 5 emperors in ancient Chinese lore. He is known as the creator or inventor. He created culture itself. Well, thanks for nothing, you dick. Gifting people with shelter, clothes, vehicles, music, medicine, and many other great advancements. Okay, I guess you're not so bad. We'll call it a wash. As for the stats, he's a physical guy. 294 strength off rip. You should probably pump that up as soon as is humanly possible and spend the next 20 on either agility or vitality or luck to boost up that crit rate. Dealer's choice. His agility is terrible for a heavy hitter demon starting off at 146, which is going to preclude him from any real speedster turn one kind of teams, but you might be able to get away with him on your double intimidating stance teams, though now with the advent of Dimensional Doggo, that might prove to be more difficult these days than was previously anticipated. But still, we hold reverence for Huang Di for all he brought to the game. He brought the frustration factor where people were pulling their hair out at how he was one-shotting their team into oblivion, and there was nothing you can do about it at the time. He nulls physical only because I have transferred null physical onto him. I believe he resists physical naturally, resists a whole bunch of other things, which is, as we know, completely goddamn useless in 2021. Let's get to the skills, the transferable. Hades Blast, physical sweep skill, power of 120. Old boy here has physical pierce, so this thing can cut through enemies like butter. If you did happen to have him on your turn 1 team in PvP, if he has those divine brands on, he would be able to rock this out turn 1, barring any undead Alices in the mix. But those divine brands are a requirement for his first unique skill, Superior Power, plus 30% of physical hit rate, and adds physical pierce. Now this is just adorable when you think back to how brutal this was when it first came out, and now you kind of look at this and you're kind of like, it's okay. It's okay. When you see what some of the other guys have in their kits, that gives physical pierce, and there's 3 other things it knocks out. He gets physical pierce and a physical hit rate boost, which, hey, for physical demons, great. That's fantastic. If you miss the death sentence, it's a fantastic. But in the grand scheme of things and how far we've come, this is quaint by comparison. And for his other unique skill, the Ying Long Killer, inflicts physical damage, 50% crit rate with a power of 150. Level this up, plus 15% to damage dealt using this skill, and MP cost of this skill -1, which is this thing costs 8 MP naturally. 8 MP. Leveling it up costs 7 MP, which means no matter what you do, you can't run him on a turn 1 team, furthering his inability to go turn 1, because unless you get him a second turn on your first turn, he can't activate the Yinglong Killer, and you would have to suffice with the far less impressive Hades Blast. So again, this is a relic of another time. And back in the day, you saw him all the time as the complement to your slow rolling double intimidating stance team, which at the time in that role, he did perform that job admirably. As for the archetype skill, Null Charm, Null's Charm. Moving on. In PvP, that is very useful to have. We all know that. I don't need to tell you why. As for the transferables, I've got him with Auto Tyrokaja and no physical, and I know you're thinking, Fingers, why the hell do you have him with no physical when all you do is complain about how nulls are useless in 2021? Well, basically because I only use Huang these days to farm the physical Alter World. And having all of your demons being able to null, repel, or drain helps speed that along quite a bit. He works great doing that, but he needs that null fizz to get that overbreak cooking as soon as humanly possible. As for brands, right now I've got him with the War brands and the AIM brands, again, because Alter World physical farming, and it works just great. You need him to be able to double tap in that, so you can either have him with Divine brands and he'll Yinglong Killer twice in a row, or you can give him the War brands and he'll Yinglong and then he'll Hades Blast. Each works fine, whatever works. If you are running him in PvP, Life brands are probably the way to go, because he's going to be on your slower team, and he needs to live through that first wave of attack. So probably sacrifice a little bit of that attack, get that health up as high as possible, because once he gets cooking, he can start cooking. As for the Spirit panels, panel 1 plus 20% to critical hit rate. Fantastic. He's a crit guy. Once he, basically, if you use Yinglong Killer, you're going to crit. It's a virtual guarantee if you're putting even a monicum of effort into the practice. And this panel just makes that job even easier. Panel number 2, minus 50% to critical hit rate of damage received. So he is harder to crit than most, making him something of a stall to physical teams you're running against. This is one of the most underwhelming things I've ever seen in my entire life. Not because negating an enemy's critical hit can't be useful, but Huang Di negating an enemy's crit rate, as opposed to having, a minus 1 MP cost to Yinglong Killer, making him turn 1 viable, perhaps, or anything else to help him bring the pain. This just doesn't do much for me, but hey, it's there, and I don't know how much good it's going to do anyone anywhere, but it's there. Waste of a panel, if you ask me. Activates the following chain effect. When landing a critical hit, heals party 15% HP of all party members for the panel 3. And this is interesting. I mean, it works great for farming physical Alter World, but other than that, healing back 15% of your health in PvP, that is not gonna save you from much. The amount of pain people are able to dish out these days, pulling back a little bit isn't gonna do all that much. But again, this kind of furthers his niche in that he's a turn 2 kind of guy. He's a slow roller kind of guy. You got him on the double intimidating stance team, and once you stump their offense, their first turn 1, well, now you got the big comeback. Not only you're hitting, you're giving a little bit of HP back to your team, and who knows, maybe it'll be just enough to get you over the line in 2021. I have my doubts, but hey, it's there. It's interesting, I guess, and it's different from your normal heavy-hitting sweeper. And before we wrap this all up, let's check out these other archetypes for the sake of completion, because I always go for 100% achievements, platinum trophies in everything I do, and I never fail to achieve that goal. For the Origami archetype, Berserker God, single target physical skill, power of 160 at the low cost of 5 MP, which is really the only reason you would even consider using this over Hades Blast or even Yinglong Killer. If you're fighting a single target, but overall, this seems largely redundant to me. Why you Berserker Godding when you want to get that Yinglong Killer, just boom, boom, boom. But it's there. If you really want that single target attack, hey, maybe you can find a good reason to do it. For the Protector archetype, Salvation heals all party members and cures all status ailments. This is interesting. It reduces the cost from 9 MP, good lord, to 8 MP, which means you're not going to get much play on this in PvP. Even if you level this up, you do get the additional minus 1 MP cost, bringing it down to potentially 7 MP. But still, if you're bringing your Huang Di into the fray to be your healer, you have done something very, very, very wrong. But hey, there could be a Kiwami or some Origate boss battle where you could make use of this somehow, some way. I can't think of anything. So, moving on, the Psychic Null Charm, the PvP archetype of choice. And finally, the Elementalist, Repel Light. Hey, it's there. If you're hankering to run that Adavaka Huang Di combo and you don't have anyone that repels light and Adavaka, he's got that intimidating stance. Plus he reinforces those repels. Hey, or that Demiurge. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Anything's possible. If anyone tells you anything's 100%, never believe him. There's always a slight chance of something going horrifically wrong or horrifically right. So, yeah, that's there, and that's the choice Sega made. So, that's all I can think to say about this Chinese emperor of old, and I think we can all agree we need more Chinese emperors like Huang Di, and less Chinese emperors like Ji, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Remember, Liberators, when you're in China, don't get captured.